What is going on, my friends? My name's Corrupt, and today we're here breaking down for you BoWitch at Town Hall 12. You heard me right, BoWitch. So if you guys do enjoy this type of content, then remember to go ahead and subscribe, ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my educational Clash of Clans content. Now, this is a very peculiar strategy. I have not seen it before, however, I did hear about it before. And this is the first I'm seeing of it, and using four golems and an Octoquake is absolutely absurd. And if you notice from the replay timer, it's a pretty solid attack. You'll notice that we are going up against multi-target Infernos. Now, imagine what this would do against single targets. If this works against triple multis, it should work against triple singles. So just keep that in mind. But this is a very basic strategy. The use of the Octoquake is similar to using three jump spells. What you're just trying to do for the most part is you're trying to break into a large part of the base in terms of keeping up the momentum as you drive through, and that's exactly what you're trying to do. So the biggest thing is, of course, first using your Octoquake. So you're going to use your 4 quakes on one side, then 4 quakes on the other. Now, of course, you can activate the Town Hall if you want, but in this case here, we've got the Town Hall a little bit more offset, meaning that's going to be pretty easy for us to sort of get to that as long as we send everything in straight this way. So what we want to do is we want to carve out one side of the base here with the witches and at least 1 or even 2 golems there. And then we want to make sure that we're doing the same thing on the other side of the base in order to guarantee our entire attack to drive in. We'll use the queen to take care of the town hall, and we'll deal with the clan castle with the poison. And you'll see that we're going to be seeing the use of headhunters and inferno dragons in the clan castles. So we will be showing you guys how to deal with those type of clan castles here, but it's still no match for this attack. Even ground expos can still not do enough for this, and it just really goes to show how strong this strategy really is. So we're using this really peculiar army composition. So we're going to first start with the quad quakes, like I mentioned. Dropping in 4 quakes, we're opening up a large portion of the base. Notice that this one has opened us up to this entire area here, and that's huge. That is extremely massive for this attack because that just gives us that whole thing for free. And then we're going to do the same thing over on the other side where the eagle is. That gives us access over there. Now you'll see the use of the 4 golems. Very interesting, and you'll see the use of the witches as well. We're using them to create the funnel. After we're kind of guaranteed, we're going to send the rest of them in, and then we're also going to drop in the siege barrack, which if you don't have, I would suggest a stone slammer or the wall wrecker, and we're going to show you guys an example of that as well. But we've also got the use of the heroes. Notice how everything is driving in. We've got the poison down on the clan castle, because this is exactly what you want to do with this, and you want to rage them up, and of course, use the Warren ability as you're driving through, including when you're dealing with the town hall. And you're going to see how easy this strategy really is. Everything is moving up in the base. They're moving up towards the eagle artillery, and they're taking down all of these defenses, including the multi-infernos. And that's huge for this attack, as you would think that the BoWitch would definitely be limited, especially with three infernos on multi, but it's not really the case, and it's very, very easy for this strategy to overwhelm a lot of bases as long as there's straightforward pathing. And that's what you're looking for when you're using this strategy. It's realistically one of the strongest that I've seen, and it's one of the quickest 3-stars that I've seen here. So definitely, if you guys are interested in wrecking bases with BoWitch, and this is definitely the strategy to go. And we've got another example for you using the wall wrecker and using giants. That way you guys can see exactly what we're kind of doing with that. And we're also going to show you guys a Town Hall 11 version of this for those of you who are watching this as a Town Hall 11. It's definitely going to help you guys improve with this. And definitely, this is a strategy that you guys need to learn. So let's go ahead and show you guys an example of using the wall wrecker and giants. Now we've got another example here for you guys. This one, like I mentioned, is the GiBoWitch at Town Hall 12. Now remember that this strategy will thin out. And a strategy like this with the wall wrecker, it's definitely going to start thinning out, which is the reason why I would prefer the Golem and Octoquake method, but that's going to be up to you. This is another way of using this, and this is just as effective and works on ring bases. And this is not the only variation. The other variation, like you saw at the beginning of the video, is another way that you guys can wreck these type of bases. So definitely you guys want to really learn on what's going on. Very similar though to everything else. You're spamming in the giants here. You're sending them in as the tanks. You're using the witches over here in order to make sure you're basically sending everything in a line, basically. It's very simple. And then you're sending in this wall wrecker. Now make sure though that you are raging up as you enter into the base, because you want to make sure that the bowlers are getting raged up. You want to make sure that everything in there is being raged up, including the heroes. Now we're going up against single target infernos, so we want to drop in that freeze in order to protect our wall wrecker here. That way it's going to be guaranteed to go in for the town hall. Now when we're dealing with the clan castle here as well, very similar, we're going to drop in that poison. Now remember that as you're entering in, you do want to take down the town hall, so the use of bringing in ice golems and maybe a P.E.K.K.A. is going to be a great way for you to take care of the clan castle. Now, of course, you also want to make sure that you are using the Warren ability in order to protect everything, and you could definitely use it earlier to protect the wall wrecker as you go in, and that's a possibility as well. And this is just really goes to show how easy this strategy is. Now, keep in mind, this strategy will thin out. No strategy won't thin out here, so you need to make sure that you are understanding that every attack will thin out in some regard. So make sure that you are preparing for that. And in this example here, the queen is the last thing remaining in order to get the triple here. So very important that you just remember that. But you guys can still see the power of BoWitch. This BoWitch, before thinning out, took over 50% of the base, which is absolutely crazy. And it definitely goes to show that even a GiBoWitch can do very well. It may not be the most clean, but it's definitely viable. So if you guys are interested, for those of you at Town Hall 12s dealing with those pesky ring bases or common base designs, mostly ring bases, of course, and even if you're going up against singles, like I mentioned at the beginning, the use of those multis there, it really doesn't matter, because that strategy, or this strategy, wrecks multis, and it also wrecks singles. So just keep that in mind with this. So the wall wrecker is obviously a good option if you don't have access to the siege barrack. So definitely, if you guys are interested in kind of seeing more of this type of, or if you want to see more of this type of, content, or even this strategy in general, remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my content. So let's go ahead and move on into the third example, which is just going back into the siege barrack, the use of the Octoquake, and the 4 golem BoWitch. So now that you guys have seen that other variation, it's now time to get into another example of using the 4 golems Octoquake method. And this one, very similar to the other ones, all we're going to be doing is drop in these golems here on each of these defensive buildings, provide the tankage for the witches right behind. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to carve out the funnel. And once we kind of do that, we can then start sending everything in. So we're going to send in our bowlers, warden, king, queen, everything to go in. And we're going to miss just a little bit of the town hall, but we will be able to still take it down thanks to the siege barrack. Other than that, though, you can easily deal with a lot of different base designs here at Town Hall 12 with this strategy. It's really not too difficult, and it is very, very quick. It's basically overwhelming the base, because sometimes some of these bases are not even geared towards defending BoWitch. And like right now, it's definitely a lot easier to use this against ring bases and bases that are just not set up to defend this, which are most bases. So you got to keep that in mind, but BoWitch is definitely a very fun army to use. And you're going to see that we're not going to be dropping in the Quakes first. We're actually going to be dropping in the first 4. We're not going to drop in the next 4. We're not going to do both Octoquakes, or we're not going to do both Quad Quakes until a little bit later. So you'll see that we did 1 Quake here, but we're using these golems in order to tank for the witches here, which is extremely important. We want to make sure that we are allowing these witches to have a nice tank in order to sort of keep them alive. Now, we want to have 2 as they go into the core, because that way we're going to be able to deal with, a lot of that damage, and a lot of that damage will go onto them and the golemites. Now, from here, you'll see that we're dealing with headhunters, we're dealing with the Inferno Dragon, and you'll see that we're going to easily deal with them with the poison, and we're going to overwhelm them very, very easily. Even though it may look like we're going to struggle a little bit, it's going to be completely fine. And you can see that we're not even using the next quad quake until we get closer to the Eagle compartment. And we'll be able to take down the Town Hall thanks to the Grand Warden ability going off right around there in order to protect everything, including the wizards from the Siege Barrack. Now remember that you also have Hog Riders in that Siege Barrack, and I didn't mention this in the first example. The main reason to why you are using those Hog Riders is in order to make sure that you've got, you don't have a heal for them, but you're using them on the back end to support your entire attack. They can help clean up defenses like Tesla's or any other defenses on the back end that will help you get that 3-star a lot quicker. And that's the reason why you saw Hogs in the first example and in this example here. So that just gives you guys an opportunity to kind of understand the use of that Siege Barrack and the reason to why we are bringing in Hog Riders instead of something else. So that is exactly what you guys kind of want to think about when you guys are using this. But for the most part, it's still very simple. And you're really not charging into anything. You're not charging into the multi-infernos. You're just looking for straightforward pathing. That's all it is. And this example gives you a really good example of just doing just that. So definitely, again, if you are interested in learning this attack strategy, it is definitely something that you guys should share with your clanmates, especially if they're struggling at Town Hall 12. And this might be something to really try out in FCs before using it into an actual live war. And this is definitely something that I would totally use at Town Hall 12 and Town Hall 13 if I ever get the chance to. So it's definitely a lot of fun. So definitely think about using this. But let's go ahead and move on into the Town Hall 11 example for those of you at Town Hall 11 on this video in order to give you guys an example of that. Now, this final one here at Town Hall 11 is going to basically open the door to really learning the GoBoWitch attack strategy. So for those of you at Town Hall 11, 4 jump spells is absolutely insane. You're only bringing 2 rage spells. You're not bringing enough, but this is a very simple attack. Very similar to Octoquake. All you're trying to do is have easy pathing through. And this base design is a very similar example to this. If we funnel out this part of the base here, so if we funnel this out, and we do the same thing over here, we have easy pathing now to get us through. And these compartments are jumpable, so keep that in mind. So this is just going to offer us a ton of value for the witches to create the funnel, the bowlers to move in with the heroes, and the Siege Barrack, of course. And this is just going to allow us to get so much value from that core, from our entry point. So that's exactly what I kind of want to show you guys here. This is a great example for those of you at Town Hall 11. And for those of you who stumbled across this video as a Town Hall 11, then this is an example of this. And I wanted to mention this one because no way that you can't use this at other Town Hall levels other than Town Hall 12. So I wanted to show you guys an example of this. Again, you'll see that what we're doing is we are carving out one side of the base with the witches, and you can see the same thing over here too. And look at everything driving in. We've got the Warren ability in order to make sure that everything is staying alive throughout the core of the base, making sure that the bowlers are getting their skip value and allowing the clan castle to go down. Very, very simple stuff. And all we're making sure that we're doing is getting towards that eagle, making sure that we're taking it out. So unlike my other BoWitch videos before where I mentioned the base identification here is getting rid of the multi-infernos, you really don't need to with this variation of BoWitch. Unlike previous ones where you are using a quad quake and jump, you can either use 4 jumps or a Octoquake and easily wreck through a lot of it, no matter if you're a Town Hall 11 or Town Hall 12 or even a Town Hall 13. So definitely keep that in mind. But other than that though, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys did learn something from this. For those of you who are at Town Hall 11 and Town Hall 12, this is a strategy that I would definitely focus in on learning. So if you guys did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like on the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my educational Clash of Clans content. Now also remember guys to go ahead and join my community Discord server. That would be really appreciated. And also feel free to go ahead and follow me on the social. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Definitely those links are in the description. Along with that, remember to join any of the clans that I cover within the game. All their links are also in the description. And if you guys want to support me further, feel free on thinking about subscribing to me over on Twitch or joining the channel as a member. Other than that, though, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.